So, first thing I really want to talk about here for the second half, Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords is going to be an X-Men related crossover starting in July. It's going to be 15 parts. And what it's going to do is it's going to go across pretty much every X title. Think very old school. Think Mutant Massacre. Think Fatal Attractions, that kind of a vibe, right? And the basic gist is that 10 mutants get 10 very special swords, and this is going to be a big game changer. I do want to point out that the Ten of Swords is a tarot card, and it's not a good tarot card. And you don't even have to have studied tarot or anything like that to look at that card and go, damn. Doesn't seem like it's going to work so well for the X-Men. This is the promotional image there. I guess those are the mutants that are going to be heavily involved. It's a Mark Brooks image. Look at Apocalypse. Look at Archangel over there. You got Psylocke, and you got Betsy, Captain Britain. You got Xavier, Wolverine, Storm, all those, right? Very excited for this because I've been loving what Hickman and company are doing on the X-Men book. So the next question I want to propose or ask y'all, are there too many X books? And is a 15-part crossover asking too much? Me personally, I don't think so. I am no stranger to overproduced X comics, right? That was the early 90s to a T. There were so many X books. Now, I don't know if there were ever as many as there are right now. Maybe. But there seemed like, especially adding the new ones coming up, there's a lot of them, right? Another really cool thing about Ten of Swords is it's X of Swords, and so it's the idea that X also equals 10 that they did with Powers of 10. I think that's super, super cool. But here's the thing. Are there too many X books? I don't think so, because each book stands on its own and can be read on its own. And if you don't like some of them, you can drop off, and there you go. Now, what happens is you have these crossovers. Now, this was something that happened in the 90s, literally every summer. So, as long as they're not overdoing this, I think it should be fine. But obviously, Marvel is pumping out a lot of X books. It's popular. It's selling very well across the line. So they're going to keep pumping them out. And I don't mind the idea of the crossover. And what used to happen to me when I was a kid, and I guess this is the business strategy, but it would work. So I'd be reading X-Men and be like, oh, Fatal Attractions is coming up. So it's appropriate that I mention Fatal Attractions. We got a Comics Revisited episode debuting this Friday. But so it reminds me of that. And I would be reading X-Men, right? And then one of these crossovers would happen, like Executioner's Song, and then you pick up the other ones. And they do tell one story. And Hickman said that each book would be like its own chapter. Now, there may be like an alpha one-shot or some kind of special that kicks it off or something like that. We don't have any of that kind of official word yet, you know? And it said it was written by Hickman, but if it's going to go across, like, I don't know how it's structured yet. We'll have to see. There's a couple ways it could be structured. It could be structured this way. It could be a crossover between 15 separate issues of all the X titles, right? So it could start in X-Men number whatever, go into Excalibur, go into Hellions, go into Children of the Atom, go into Wolverine, go into X-Force and Marauders, and then culminate somewhere else, right? Or they could do like a one-shot, Ten of Swords, number one, $7 one-shot that kicks off everything that jumps into the other ones. Now, either Hickman could come in and actually write those individually himself, or what's more than likely going to happen is that he came up with the idea of the story, and everybody's going to be writing their own respective chapters. Or there could be a series, like a 5 to 6 issue series, 10 of Swords, and then there could be tie-ins. There could be something where it only goes from X-Men to this, and that's all the stuff that Hickman's writing or something like that, and there are tie-ins that go around. I think, though, the way that it seems to be worded when they announce this is that it's going to go through each X book, right? So, but this is nothing new to us. The X books used to do this all the time, and I think it's fine. And even if you're not reading Excalibur, when they do a big crossover like this, sometimes it works. And when I was a kid and I would read these issues of X-Force or X-Factor or whatever, it make me interested in what's going on there, and you get little snippets of it. And so that was always kind of cool. But yeah, I think it's going to be a nifty idea. I think it's pretty cool. CMA Thunder says, yes, too many X books. Slime says, I only read X-Men in giant size, so no, not for me. Hey, what's up? Here on the Kid just popped in. Good luck with the show tonight. Catching the replay in the morning. Well, thank you, buddy. Comic books got my pockets empty. I have to chill out. As someone returning to comics and also enjoying a lot of their titles, I think it's intimidating how many X books, but it's not a bad thing. Yeah, definitely it's going to, it gets intimidating to people to jump in because they feel like they have to read everything, but you don't. But people feel like they're going to miss something if they don't read things. But like if you didn't read Fallen Angels or if you haven't read Excalibur, you're not really missing much. Maybe some interesting developments about Apocalypse and Excalibur, but that's about it. Mike, the voice is here. Marvel plus $$ equals slap an X on the title. Fine with me, but I'm only reading 4 or 5 X-Men monthlies. But I will read all crossovers that I need to. The X-Men especially. X-Force has been great. John says, I love X-Men, but it's difficult for me to get back into it. It's a little overwhelming for someone wanting to start reading X-Men. I mean, it's no Convergence. Yeah, it's not that big of a deal, right? But, I mean, the most important things to do are going to be to read the Hickman ones. Those are the most important ones at all times. So if you feel like there's too many, but you want to follow it, just read the Hickman ones. What's up, Herminio? The problem is I want to read all the X-Men titles, and I can't afford to get other books. They bank on that, because there are people that only read X-Men books, and so they kind of capitalize on that. What's up, God Tank? How are you doing? I think they will get more expensive with books being intertwined. That may happen as well.